Hi, everyone. Welcome to another resource review. My name is Danielle, the Community Connections Coordinator at Sarah Riel. And today we are joined by REES. And I'm very excited to hear all about the amazing things that REES is doing in the community. So, over to you. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, thank you so much for having me today. It's so nice to be here. My name is Lori Hertig, and I'm with Reaching Equality Employment Services. Reaching Equality Employment Services is an employment service that is a community-based organization. We were established over 30 years ago, which is an amazing feat for a nonprofit organization in Winnipeg.
Wow.
We just had our 31st birthday, and we're kind of an interesting organization because our history is so rich. We are actually the product of an amalgamation of two community-based organizations that had similar mandates, who came together to form Reaching Equality Employment Services as an organization founded by people with disabilities for people with disabilities.
Oh, amazing. I didn't realize that that was who founded it.
You bet.
That's amazing. I love that.
Right here in Winnipeg.
Very cool. So you've
Yes.
mentioned that Reese is for people with disabilities. So
Yes.
what does that mean? I feel like that's a big word.
It is. So our mandate is to work with people with physical disabilities or health conditions to connect with employment, as well as to help employers to connect with awesome candidates to help them fill their staffing needs.
Oh, okay. So you're not just working with applicants, you're actually working with employers as well.
Absolutely. And in over the 30 years that we've been doing this, we've most certainly made incredible connections with employers in Winnipeg who are doing great work, in terms of their hiring processes and kind of acting as an intermediary between the candidates and the employers to establish what accommodations, if any, might be necessary in order for an individual to be successful. And the employers that we work with have been wonderful, and we have a quite a database of individuals who we work with, and as well, we're out there every day meeting new ones. So
Fantastic. I love that you brought up the accommodations piece because I think that that might be something that people get very nervous about, whether you're an employer or an employee. So, are you helping people sort of navigate those waters?
absolutely, and one of the areas that we really focus on during our in-person and now online and by telephone group and individual employment counseling sessions is really how to identify what an accommodation is. And at REES, we know that the individual participant is the one who has the best understanding of what accommodation might be required. So we really work with that individual to navigate how to communicate that accommodation to an employer in a way that the employer can easily relate to, and to do it, at the proper time.
Amazing. That's wonderful. So you mentioned the in-person and the online group. So are
Yes.
participants working one-on-one with somebody, or is there opportunity for them to, meet as a group or online and through a Zoom group as
Yes.
well?
So pre-COVID, we had both one-on-one employment counseling sessions. We have a resource area in the front where people can kind of meet in small groups as well as work individually. And as well, we have group sessions that we offer on a very regular basis at REES that range from a variety of topics, from resume preparation and preparing for job interviews and identifying and communicating accommodations. And so we have just a wide array of topics. Now, with COVID, we are doing as much as we possibly can to connect with our participants. And we do it mostly by electronic means. Although our offices, and we have been working this entire time with participants and had our employment counselors available, we are doing some in-person sessions with the precautions in place that we have established. So we do very small numbers of people in the office at a time. We're very lucky because we have two very large training rooms that offer opportunities for social distancing. And as well, of course, we have the technology to do whatever we can through Zoom and FaceTime and all those other things. So
Fantastic. I think it's so funny how everyone's been sort of forced into this,
I know, right?
learning all this new technology, which is good, right?
I didn't know what Zoom was just 7 months ago, and now look at us.
Now
So
you're an expert.
an expert. Yeah, it's hard to believe the turns that we take, and we've just gone with it. And I think that our participants' engagement is what's key. And so kind of whatever works to keep the participants engaged is what we're going to do.
Excellent. So, will you find jobs for participants, or like are you doing a job connection kind of thing, or are you, giving them the tools and the confidence to navigate things like Indeed or in
Yes.
person?
All of the above. We work with the individuals, certainly one on one, and we go through what is out there. So we can certainly start with our own network of employers, and of course, to continue because job search, very often is a numbers game, and the more you contact, the more that contact you back, and the more that contact you back, the better the opportunity is to make that employment connection. So we do everything. So sometimes we work with the individuals to go through and learn how to do some more internet job search. We as well, go through the regular sites. We go through our list. We go through their contacts and connections, teach them how to do some networking, use our own networks. We do it all.
Awesome. I love that. So, how would somebody start with REES then? Do they need a doctor referral, or can they just show up? Maybe not right now with the COVID stuff, but how would they normally get
Great question.
connected?
We take individuals based on self-referrals, referrals from other organizations. Certainly an individual has the best understanding of his or her as personal situation. We don't require medical documentation or anything like that. However, in order to qualify for our services, an individual does, need to be a person with a physical disability or health condition is the primary barrier to employment. And from there, we start to bring them to go through the intake process. So our intake process we have fairly simplified, so it's not too difficult and not too big of a burden. The goal is to get people right in the door. So we have awesome intake counselors who help in that process and then move them through the process up until the point that an individual is ready to move into the job search phase and hopefully make that successful connection with employment. And then, of course, we can work with that individual on employment maintenance as things come up, which sometimes we all know that they may.
Absolutely. That's wonderful that you mentioned the employment maintenance, because that's such a big part of maintaining your job, right? Is, after those
Absolutely.
first couple weeks, and then the real job, I feel like, starts at that point.
Yes. So yeah, so we certainly support individuals as time goes on to kind of maneuver one's way through some difficult situations as they might arise and just support an individual and be there for them as time goes on and as well with the employer. And we've most certainly had times where employers have called and said, we're facing a circumstance and, can we all come together and have a meeting? And those are great collaborations that, result in great successes. So we're happy to do that as
Absolutely.
well.
And great that employers do feel that comfort, because they know that this is a great employee, and just, that mediation in between to make it work. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's really great. Wonderful.
Yes, so we've been around, like I said, for about 31 years, and we're located right on Portage Avenue at 1200 Portage. Um, we are actually an organization that is funded by both the province of Manitoba and the government of Canada, as well as the United Way of Winnipeg and the Winnipeg Foundation. We have partnerships with other organizations as well that support us in a variety of different ways, as well as employers who support us and organizations like yourselves that we've partnered with consistently over the years. So we're very lucky to have those partnerships, and it's one that we know works for everybody involved and really helps to increase the potential successes of the participants. So
Absolutely. Well, that's great. We'll make sure that we put all of the contact information and where you're located in the description below the video, so that everybody knows
absolutely.
how to get a hold of you.
You bet.
Um,
832 Reese.
yeah. So this was so lovely, Lori. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us a little
For
bit
sure.
about the organization. I
You
do have
bet.
one final question for you, and it is
Yes.
one of my favorite questions. What would you say is your favorite home or office knickknack?
Ooh, that is a very good question. But I have to say I'm a big coffee drinker. So it's always the coffee. It's the
Few
coffee.
people have said it's the coffee mug.
Sure. It's, you name it. If it's got to do with coffee, that's it.
I love it. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again for being here and for sharing
Thank
with
you.
us.
It was so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Always. All right, everybody, take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.